Hello, mommies, and welcome to season 1, episode 2 of Postpartum with Priyah. So, today we are going to pick up where we left off. I know it's been a minute, y'all, but unfortunately, life has been lifing, and I didn't have no time to try to make time to record a video. So, here we are. And actually, today we are going to kind of rewind and elaborate more on some things that were said in the first episode. Okay? Cool. Also, my plan is to continue to stay consistent, which that was originally my plan, but again, life does happen. So I do appreciate y'all for giving me grace. If you follow the Instagram, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I just appreciate y'all. So let's jump right into it and just pick up where we left off. Okay, so in the last episode, I said to you guys that I went into the hospital when I was 3 months, I believe, in the end of April, beginning of May. And I was telling y'all about them saying I had hypothyroidism. I just want to talk more about that. When I was in the hospital, they definitely told me that I was gonna have to be in ICU. Um, they were trying to put me on all this medicine, and I was rejecting the medicine because I was still in the first trimester. You know, everything is really risky in the first 3 months, and once those 3 months are up, you're not really at risk that much, but yeah, I was scared. I didn't want no medicine that was going to help me, so I was willing to take that chance for my baby. And if you're a mom, you know, once you get pregnant or find out that you're pregnant, everything is about that child. You see how you're willing to sacrifice and go for your child. So yeah, I was not having it. I was like, y'all not about to give me no medicine, and my baby is only three, not even really a full 3 months yet. So um I I think what happened after that? I eventually did take the medicine because my chest started hurting even more. And y'all, even me laying there, my heart rate was 165. 165. And they were like, that's the heart rate of someone that's working out or running. I was literally just laying down. So they were talking about putting me in the intensive care unit, ICU. Um I was kind of scared, but I also was out of it at the same time. So I really couldn't react. I just had to let them do what they did. But let me tell you something about the name Jesus. I was calling it. Okay. And he was there with me every step of the way. He met me in that room. Y'all don't look, because I will go to church, okay? Let's not do it. But yeah, so that's really what I wanted to really elaborate on more. I also wanted to tell y'all the episode was so short too because I was a little anxious. I was really happy that it was actually happening, but I feel like I was kind of rushing through my words, so I wasn't able to really tell y'all a lot. But I think I got to most of the detail. Now, to fast forward to where we left off, we are in the postpartum stage. I had the anxiety attacks, and the last anxiety attack was, I believe, them telling me, me going to the hospital and them telling me I was diagnosed with postclampsia or whatever. And I really just couldn't believe it. So they did try to send me home with some medicine or whatever, like to help my blood pressure. I believe that's what happened. Um, I really can't. I really can't remember, but yeah, that was the anxiety attack before the one that happened when my mom ended up coming or whatever. But I want to kind of emphasize more on the postpartum journey because that's what it's all about. Even with the pregnancy, people don't talk about how having a hard pregnancy can affect your mental space. I feel like postpartum hit me so hard because I was not able to feel and allow myself to feel and have these emotions due to me being high risk and due to me not being able to really have feelings and have emotions because I was scared of what my baby can feel. And I just felt that every little emotion would have sent me into preterm labor, which is true. The stress would have did it. So I feel like that's kind of what pushed the postpartum part of it as well because I went through so much and I wasn't able to face it while I was pregnant. And I know y'all feel that because I see a lot of moms say that they don't want their baby to feel their tears or their baby to feel their pain, which is so true because you just a little baby, you don't deserve to feel these bad emotions. Anxiety attacks was something that I struggled with for so long, and I think let me see. I think I struggled for about 5 to 6 months with anxiety attacks, and I didn't know how to bring myself out of it. I didn't know how to talk myself out of it. All I know is I just had to be in it, and in order for me to get out of it, I just had to let it do what it needed to do. I kind of Anxiety is terrible. Like it kind of takes over your body in a way, and it sucks. It's the worst feeling ever. But yeah, so for they tried to. I think I said this in the last video, but they did try to put me on medicine. But again, I was just like, no, like let my body do what it's want to do. And it started to test me and her dad's relationship. Um, it wasn't a pretty sight to see, but we were managing, we were trying. Even up until this day, it still is a lot. It still isn't easy. It still sucks. Like postpartum literally sucks. It can ruin your relationship. It can ruin friendships. It can ruin everything around you if you allow it. And even if you don't allow it to happen, it somehow still messes things up in a way, especially if people around you don't understand your struggles. So, I believe I also dealt with struggles of like his family not really understanding certain things um about me being postpartum and me dealing with a C-section. The C-section also was terrible, y'all. Like I don't get I've seen people say, like take the easy route and just get the C-section when it's not easy at all. Are y'all forgetting that 7 layers of your body is being cut? Like imagine someone just coming up to you and stabbing you. Like that is what's going on. They also told her dad that I was losing a lot of blood, so it's just like all these things were happening, and it was just like everything was so focused on baby, 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 but no one was focused on how's mom doing. Like mom gotta be okay for baby to be okay. Let's stay focused on that, right? Yeah, like when she was born, they just like his family wanted to, see her more. They wanted me to bring her over, and I was dealing with recovering from a C-section, but also postpartum. I couldn't be away from my baby. I didn't want to be away from my baby. Now, when did I realize that it was postpartum? I believe, what was this? 2 weeks after having her, I opened up to my mom about my honest feelings, and I didn't tell anyone because I was trying to avoid postpartum as much as I could, y'all. Like postpartum really, really sucks. So I just was trying to stay out of it because I used to see videos about it, and me dealing with, you know, all this high risk stuff. I knew it was affecting me mentally, but I just knew that if I dealt with it during postpartum, it would have been worse. So, as time went on, like I said, I told my mom, and she contacted my gynecologist, which was happens to be her friend. And only reason I had to switch doctors was because they didn't deliver babies. So my mom reached out to her, letting her know my symptoms, and she told my mom that it sounded like I was going through postpartum blues. What were my symptoms? I was sad. I couldn't get out the house. I didn't know what this cloud was over me. It just felt like no matter how hard I tried to be happy, I was so sad. I had anxiety attacks just stepping out on the front porch. Um, I cried at the thought of even just getting out of the house. I didn't want to leave my baby. I felt like nobody can tell me nothing. I was snappy towards her dad. I tried my best to just, get rest, and I was losing sleep. It was just so much that like went with it. So yeah, she was like, it sounds like postpartum blues, and that's pretty much like the first little couple weeks of sadness after you have your baby before it gets bad. Because postpartum blues can be something that's temporary, and like I said, it just goes away. It's just temporary. So, but if it continues after a certain amount of time, it's considered postpartum depression. So, I realized it was postpartum after the blues. It kind of really set in after she said postpartum blues, and the timing of postpartum blues kind of was like up. It was kind of up. I was like, okay, yeah, this is really postpartum depression. I can't keep masking it. Even when she did say blues, I was still kind of avoiding it. So, um, I tried to do things like while I was in the house, I tried to read books. I tried to do word searches. I tried to find good TV shows. I tried to like do little Halloween things because my daughter was born October 10th. So I was trying to find like little Halloween activities to do in the house, watch Halloween movies, my favorite ones. You know, I love me some Krusty Krab. That's my comfort food anytime I'm stressing, y'all. That's what I go to. Um I pushed myself to do certain things around the house, but it made me even more sad to do those things because I knew I was doing it because I felt sad, and it wasn't just me doing it because I want to do it. It was me doing it because I didn't want to stay in whatever funk that was. Mind you, I'm also breastfeeding. So, um it's just like my baby needed me. I also had went back to school. Like school started in August. My classes weren't done till about December. So I gave birth while in school and everything. So they my thankful for my professors because they were so understanding. But yeah, y'all, it was just a lot, but I wasn't stressed. It's just a mental thing that was terrible, y'all. It was terrible. And I mentioned this in the last episode, like the postpartum hit me the day later. Like I didn't know why I was crying in the hospital, and I'll even insert the video so y'all can see. Even when I didn't want it, he kept me. Even when I didn't want it, he kept me. That's the grace of God. That's the kindness of God. Also, around December of 2024, I experienced postpartum hair loss. So, y'all, I had bald spots here. I had bald spots here. It was like this whole back right here, like around the edge. It kind of looked like it was um like a. I kept telling we was laughing about it, even though it was really hurting my feelings, but we laughed about it like it looked like a wax strip went across my head. It was terrible. But and it was on both sides and even the back. Like I feel like I experienced everything that you could possibly experience with postpartum. Like I don't know. I feel like I did. Like I don't know. You know, God like to test me sometimes, and I prove him right every time. But still, I don't want to feel that, Lord. In December, I started noticing I had a okay. So my mom had made me feel pretty. She curled my hair or whatever. Got a silk press for Thanksgiving, and like a couple, like 2 weeks later after the silk press, like you know when the silk press get old, you start wearing it in a ponytail and a bun. I kept it oiled. Okay, so I can't remember exactly where I left off because the camera just turned off. It did at the last time, so I'm just gonna pick up where I think I was. I was kind of that put me into a more depressive state because I'm just like I already been going through enough. Like why does things keep happening? You know, like it could be frustrating to keep thinking that you're okay or think that time just going to go on and things are going to get better and my hair fall out, my pretty hair. So I think I ended up getting a sew in after that, and I had put the sew in up one time, and it just like my edges was just thin, like it was terrible, y'all. And then every time I brushed my hair, it was like coming out in clumps, like big balls of it was coming out. Like even me, not even just brushing it, because sometimes people can be aggressive when they brush their hair. I'm not aggressive with my hair though, but I know what y'all thinking. Like maybe she was just brushing it too hard. No, I was even lightly brushing it. I even combed my fingers through it. And when I combed my fingers through it, it was coming out like balls of it. That was not okay, y'all. Like even me doing like this, just doing like this, it was like a ball of hair in my hand. So I remember me and my mom still crack up at it to this day because I remember I was over her dad's house. I spent the night over his house, and I had a breakdown in his room, and no, yeah, I felt myself about to have a breakdown in his room, and I ended up going in the bathroom, y'all. And it was because I think I touched my hair or something, and it came out. So I went in the bathroom to kind of like comb it through or whatever, and a little like medium sized knot just came out the end of my hair, and I'm just like, wow, like I just can't get a break. Like I'm tired. So y'all, I think I really just kind of like left my hair alone and kept it in like natural protective styles. I don't think I really did much. I don't recall me having too many hairstyles. maybe I did. Probably about 6 months. I started when she was 6 months. I probably started doing things to my hair to maintain them. I think after my birthday, I started really like taking care of it. And by that time, my hair was still it was still kind of trying to grow back, but it was there. Like I was able to do a little edge and stuff. Like it was there. So yeah, that was one thing I dealt with postpartum. Another thing that may be touchy for some people, I don't know, but me personally, I did not want to have sex. I don't know about anybody else, but me, no. And even to this day, I'm still not there. I no. So, I believe the first time that we did try to have intercourse, y'all, I had an anxiety attack, and it was so bad. Like I was crying. And this is me being transparent. Please don't think I'm weird. Like I was crying, and it was so bad. Like I don't know, y'all. Like I was shaking, I was hyperventilating, I couldn't calm down. Like it was so bad. So, and I thank God for a father and a partner like him, because he's really, he's a really good person, and he's a good comfort person. He was there for me, even though these are the things that he was supposed to do. He still, just you don't get that a lot, if that makes sense. Like, it just felt good to know I had someone. So, um, he didn't, try to force me on anything. He was very understanding. He comforted me in the ways that he knows how. And I calmed down and ended up really falling asleep. One thing I can also say about those anxiety attacks, I didn't know how to, I think I said this already, but I didn't know how to calm myself down. So, and they were really, really draining. So it was either me going to sleep after that, or me just kind of like feeling really tired. And also, while I was in the anxiety attacks, I couldn't talk. I couldn't, like, I couldn't talk. I couldn't react. I couldn't do anything. I would respond to you in my head, but I couldn't say it. And I remember my grandmother and my mother used to like ask me questions during the attack, but I couldn't talk. So once my mom caught on to that, she was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna talk her through it, like, you okay, calm down, whatever." But my grandmother, they old school. They don't really be doing like how to react when this type stuff happens. But she just like, "Priya, you okay? You okay? You are you think about this, you think about that," and I'm just like, I can't respond to you. So um yeah, but to get back onto what I was saying, yeah, I couldn't enjoy intercourse after I tried. I didn't want to do it. And the reason why is because I was touched a lot in the hospital, and my body was disturbed so much because my labor and delivery story was terrible. Like the everything, it was just from them putting balloons up inside of me and putting their fingers up there was painful, and putting medicine up there. It just seemed like I kept being touched, even when they had, I don't know, I think they did a cervix check. They put the little thing up there that you get when you get a pap smear, and that was so painful. And I feel that my body still reacts to those things, y'all. Like it's tough. So I'm not gonna give y'all too much about now. I'm gonna try to keep the timeline so I could build up to now. But I was also diagnosed with PTSD. Um Due to how traumatic my story was. Yeah, you may hear me. I'm kind of getting emotional, y'all. You may hear me talk about it, but if you never actually been through it or been through some things in that sort, you don't understand. Having a baby changes your life in many ways, and not just mentally. I don't regret nothing about my daughter. I just wish that I didn't have to go through the depressive part of it. Um, I also tell people, like, I've been through so much to the point where I feel like I missed like the first year of my daughter's life, because I was so much like, I was there, I was doing it. Like I was being a mom, but I still wasn't there. Like it was something, y'all. Like it's like I was there, but I wasn't, y'all. I don't know how to describe it. But okay, so this is, for example, I said I didn't want to skip timelines, but I feel like this would kind of help y'all understand as well. I even struggle at the doctors. I recently had a pap smear like 2 weeks ago, y'all, and it was terrible. I was crying, and she was like, "Does it hurt?" And I'm like, "No," and it really didn't hurt, y'all. I had an anxiety attack. I was crying. I was apologizing to the doctor. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, you don't understand. Like, I've been through a lot, you know. And I was also in the hospital like 2 weeks ago for my stomach pain, and when I went to get the pap smear or whatever, that was for me to see if I had an ovarian cyst because I was having symptoms of it, which I've had before. Um, I also, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm skipping some stuff. Before I even jump to that, I want to go back. So, another thing too that kind of triggered postpartum, I was still in and out of the hospital. So, 6 to 7 months after she was born, I also was having prop issues with using the restroom, but not peeing, door number two. And it's not like that like I was going, but it was very painful. So they diagnosed me with hemorrhoids. They gave me some things to use, like some stool softeners and suppositories to help me, help it be easier until they do the procedure with the rubber band procedure. And then I ended up seeing a gastro enterologist, and y'all, come to find out, I never had hemorrhoids. I had a fetal fissure, and I have still to this day. I have a fetal fissure. So I was diagnosed with that when she was probably about 7 to 8 months, and I was dealing with the pain from it. If you had hemorrhoids or even a fetal fissure, then you understand like the pain of that. And I was taking stool softeners. I probably stopped taking them stool softeners like last November, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. Mind you, that's after my daughter's first birthday. So I was pretty much on stool softeners since she was born. Um, they told me it was hemorrhoids. It was not hemorrhoids. It was not hemorrhoids at all. It was a fetal fissure. And I really be stuck saying that because what is a fetal fissure? Like what in the world was going on, y'all? So they told me that it comes from trying to labor and the baby's head pushing, and it causes it to like split. So y'all, I didn't feel none of this. So I honestly, like, I don't know. I was wiping my I was as I was wiping myself postpartum, like freshly postpartum. Of course, I was still bleeding because I had a C-section, but I was able to notice the difference between blood, like the what was that? The C-section blood was like darker. The back there blood was lighter, like a lighter pink or whatever. So they were telling me that they're going to give me this cream that's going to help close it up or whatever, and give me stool softeners. First they started with stool softeners and suppositories, so I still use that from the hemorrhoids or whatever. um they were saying the little rubber band method. They were saying all these different type of methods to get it done, or just clip them off, and I'm just like, no, like all of this just sound painful. I just want my body to have a rest. Like, give it a rest, please. So, um, what happened after that? I think, okay, so yeah, so they gave me the suppository and the stool softeners or whatever, and they ended up referring me to another doctor. I forgot what you called. Is it oncology? I think it was oncology, y'all. I think. Don't get me wrong, but I went. They referred me to another doctor once they realized that it wasn't hemorrhoids, and that doctor was telling me, so it's time for the next steps, and that is the Botox procedure, y'all. So that was done. I had the Botox back in November. Was it? The Botox takes two procedures, y'all. So, um, what happened? Okay, so I got the first procedure done. That was the first time I got it. Y'all, I really don't know. Maybe it was January. Either way, I got it done. I'm trying to figure out the timeline of it, but either way, I got it done. And I ended up finding out that it actually takes 2 rounds of Botox for it to actually work. They were telling me that I don't need to be put to sleep for it and I could just take it, but the needle it's going to hurt because it has to go in my nerve. So I said, well, I don't want to be woke for that. And they were like, the numbing stuff doesn't really work. So I said, yeah, I don't want to be woke for that. So let's go ahead and put me to sleep. So I wake up out of the surgery or whatever. I believe that I'm allergic to anesthesia. I always have like these bad, not like these bad episodes when I use it. I mean, when I get it. So yeah. So time went on, whatever. I went back to the doctor. They said that it's closing. There's only a little bit that need to close. Y'all, I'm gonna hold y'all hand when I say this. Well, somebody hold my hand. Shoot. they they ended up telling me that I have to do 2 rounds for it to fully go away. I'm tired of people touching my body. I am. This was back in, like I said, January. It definitely was January. This was back then. And I, no, this appointment was back in January. Okay, so yeah, I got the Botox the one time, and y'all telling me again. This is what's going through my head. Y'all telling me I gotta get it again. So that means y'all gotta keep tampering with my body. My body don't want to be touched. My body has been getting tampered with all this time. I'm going through postpartum. Um I'm breastfeeding. I'm having anxiety attacks. I'm struggling with my relationship. All of these things are going on, and y'all want to keep messing with my body. So I scheduled for the second round. They ended up calling me saying that they needed to reschedule me because the doctor ended up having an emergency situation with another patient or whatever. And y'all, they were calling me for like a week straight because I never rescheduled and I never went in for my surgery because y'all gonna leave me alone. Y'all not gonna keep messing with me. Like, leave me alone. Leave my body alone. Let my body rest. Like, that's irritating. So y'all, I'm having issues with it now to the point where it's getting worse and I'm starting to bleed again. So they did tell me, and this is another reason why I ignored them. I forgot to say this. I ignored them too because they told me that the next step, if the Botox doesn't work, or even this time, because they did check me again and say that it was closing, and then I went back again and they said that it kind of opened back up. So they were like, either get the second round of Botox or they're gonna have to clip my muscle, which means I'm gonna have a loose booty, and I don't want that. Which means like I wouldn't be able to hold no farts. I wouldn't be able to hold myself, but I gotta use the bathroom. Like, I would have to go right then and there. And who's to say I'm gonna always be by a bathroom? What if I'm on a road trip? Like, I'm not using no public bathroom. That's nasty. So yeah, I have been avoiding them. And if y'all see this, I love y'all, and I know y'all just trying to help, but no, not right now. So yeah, so that was that. I'm still dealing with that to this day. How I got pregnant, that also traumatized me. Because it's just like, I don't know, it's just something that I wasn't like really expecting, but I'm okay with my daughter. I love my daughter. It's just, how, I be really praying, asking God to heal my heart because I'm just so traumatized, and I'm so scared that, no matter what I do, this cloud will just follow me everywhere, and I don't want to deal with that. Like, I want to be happy. Um Another thing that kind of irritates me too is just how my body, like, certain things just be happening at one time. Like, my eczema is so much worse than it was. I've had eczema since I was a kid, but it seemed like after having my daughter, it got worse. Like, it be in places it ain't never been in. Like, when I was pregnant, it was on my stomach. I had little patches on my stomach. Now my hands break out really bad, and it usually flares up when I'm stressing or it's getting hot outside. But this time it stayed even through winter. Usually winter I don't deal with it at all, but it stayed through winter, and I really do feel like it's most likely just me dealing with postpartum depression. If you ask me why am I still dealing with, or what could be keeping me back, honestly, I don't know. I do know that I do need to heal, but I don't know how to heal. I don't know in what ways I can heal. I did take a break from the medicine because I didn't know if it was making it worse or better. But yeah, um, I'm trying to make sure I'm not skipping over anything. I do feel like I am skipping some things. Yes, I am, y'all. So there's another thing. Okay, so now that we had got my fetal fissure thing kind of to calm down, this is before the Botox. So it was kind of calming down, but it still needed the procedure to be done. But this was before we got to that point. So, y'all, why I ended up finding out that, no, 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 pause. So I started doing it before I get there. Why I started this IT program, y'all. I used to eat Starbucks every morning. for breakfast, and I used to have me a little frappe every morning, extra caramel. One morning, they gave me raw old bacon. Raw old bacon. Tell me why 2 hours later, stomach on 10. See, but I didn't really pay attention to the symptoms because, like I was taking stool softeners every night for the fissure. So by that time, like me using the bathroom wasn't irregular. Like that was something that I was doing because they were telling me to take it at night. So by morning time, I had to go. Y'all, 2 hours later, I'm at my program, my stomach started hurting, whatever. Use the bathroom, whatever. But it just kept happening. I'm starting to feel weak. Something don't feel right. My body don't feel right. By the time I went to pick my daughter up, like I was in sweats. I couldn't stay woke. Stomach is hurting. Y'all, it was terrible. Did I throw up? No, I didn't throw up, but I just kept using the bathroom. My stomach was hurting. I hate vomiting, so I tried to avoid it as much as I could. I could not sleep. I couldn't shower. I couldn't do nothing, y'all. Ended up going to the hospital, finding out I had salmonella. Salmonella gastroenteritis. So it's salmonella caused by salmonella causes gastroenteritis. Why is this important to this story? Because stuff kept happening. It did not stop. My health was just, it was just little stuff like that, like little curable stuff. And not saying that, I wanted something that wasn't curable. It's just stuff just kept happening, like, and it's just like it's the little things that kept happening, like little small stuff, and I'm like, I'm already going through enough. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, that's annoying. So I found out I had salmonella, y'all. Why? 2 weeks later, I'm cool. That was the only time I was around my daughter, when I picked her up the day I was sick, and then 2 days later I was in the house trying to fight it because I really hate going to the hospital. As much as I've been there, I hate going in there, but I don't go unless I have to go. And every time I have something, it brings me to the hospital. So, y'all, my daughter was only around me that same day. I didn't see her for them whole 2.5 weeks. That hurt my heart so bad. I know I love my baby. I can't go without my baby. So, y'all, she come home. How about she got salmonella? I take her to the hospital. Me and her father was in here. We was sleeping. She kept pooping. She kept gasping in her sleep. She started vomiting. And by the time we got to the hospital, it got worse. Like, she had a high fever. Her fever was like 105. They had her veins kept collapsing or whatever. She was severely dehydrated. Her fever was 105, and they had to monitor that because too high of a fever can cause seizures. So it was just terrible, y'all. Like, it was bad. So that affected my mental health, especially me keep seeing them, stick her, and her just being in pain. I don't like that. So they ended up transferring her to the other side of the hospital because they couldn't find a vein, and if they couldn't find a vein, they would have had to keep her. But they ended up getting one in her foot. I lied to y'all not. They stuck her 10 times, and I counted, in her arms, and then the 10th one was her foot. So imagine, I don't even think she was one yet. She wasn't. Imagine being one and all this happening. Like, come on now, y'all. I was so mad. Like, I was so irritated. Like, why is y'all touching my baby? So, I stepped out the room when they kept. Okay, so I was in there when they stuck her the first couple times, but I stepped out. Y'all, I was really like, I couldn't take it. Y'all, I had a breakdown. I was crying. I'm just like, it's always something. Like, I can never just be happy. It's always something ruining my happiness. I can't get too happy because I'm scared that something is going to happen. And it's just the same pattern that just keeps happening in my life. So I'm already dealing with postpartum because of things keep happening. And then just me dealing with it in general and my hormones being off, y'all. I was like, I couldn't take it. I was just going through it so bad, y'all. And then she ended up getting better with medicine. We followed up with her doctor or whatever, y'all. And then me and her dad had took a break, broken up because I just didn't have the mental capacity to try to be there for a relationship while I'm trying to deal with my yeah. So like this was like the real breakup. I couldn't take it no more because it was just a lot. I don't want to go too in depth into that because I don't like putting my business, me and his business out there. But again, he's still a good father. That has nothing to do with anything. It's just me and him, things that me and him have to, get through with me still dealing with postpartum. But yeah, so that took a toll on him. That also took a toll on me. It got bad because, he was just trying to reach out to me a lot and trying to make things work. And I was at a point where I was tired of trying and I no longer wanted to be bothered with anyone anymore. And I ended up, it got so bad, y'all, that, um, this is a lot. Okay, I don't like crying, y'all, on camera. So I was just trying to fight it. But, yeah, so in November of last year, we were it, it was the rough season for us, definitely the most rough season for us. And it was one day where he was accusing me of some stuff, and I was already dealing with what I was dealing with because I was triggered the night before, not by him. And that night I had cried myself to sleep. And I just was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I want everybody to leave me alone. So I disappeared. And I went ghost on everybody. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I left. I wanted everybody to leave me alone. And I turned my location off. My mom couldn't get in contact with me. My grandparents couldn't. My brother couldn't. Nobody could get in contact with Priyah. And I was okay with that because nobody understood how severe my pain was. And the thing is, the people that I was ignoring did not deserve to be ignored. I just was so out of it. I cried myself so out of it that it just, whew, y'all don't understand. So by the next day, I'm going out to take care of my responsibilities. Like I had to go change my address for my license and stuff. And um, everybody was calling my phone, blowing my phone up. My mom was texting me like pictures of her crying or whatever. And I simply did not. I really didn't care. And it hurt me that I didn't care. That's how I know I was zoned out of it for the day. So, um, I ended up going to go sit by the water, and I cried, and I let it out, and I cried out to God, and I said, God, whatever it is, please take it away, help me. I don't want to hurt anymore. So, I ended up at a friend's house, and my mom got in contact with that friend, and the friend was, trying not to tell me that my mom was texting him. Was texting, yeah, was texting him about me being with him or whatever. And I ended up asking him, I was like, you texting my mother? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, how you get her number? And he was like, she texted me or whatever. So he tried to laugh first and be like, no, he not, but he was. So I ended up finally saying something to my mother. My mother knew that's where I was at because that was he's my comfort friend. So um he's more than a comfort friend, but in that moment he was definitely my comfort friend in that season. So yeah, so I ended up leaving his house. I finally talked to my mom, and this is how I know I was so out of it. I don't play about my daughter, y'all. I really don't. And I was supposed to pick her up that day. She ain't had no food cooked or nothing, and I don't play all that outside food, y'all. Girl, I'm talking about girl. Yes, girl. Tell me why I didn't even pick my baby up. I ain't care if I knew she was gonna be fed. I knew she was gonna be in good hands, but I didn't care. Like what? Like I knew. Like I didn't care. Y'all do what y'all gonna do. Y'all know I don't like her eat outside food, but Sabria's checked out. What y'all gonna do without me? So I really was struggling with self harm that day. Suicide was definitely my struggle for some time because I got tired even before the situation happened. So Um, yeah, y'all, it was terrible. I was so zoned out. I ended up going home. My mom picked my daughter up, and I felt so bad because before me actually texting my mom back, I had saw her on the camera of our house looking around and crying or whatever. Like she was just trying to see where I was at or whatever. And I honestly, it made me feel bad, but it also was just like nobody understands. Like my mom gets me though. She does. It's just in that moment, I don't know. Like I literally was zoned out. So, um, what pushed me, I think the next day, okay, so I told people, let me see. Not the next day, maybe 2 days. No, that same night, before I even get that far, that same night, y'all, I was at home smiling, acting as if nothing happened. And that's how I knew something was wrong. The next day, nothing happened. But let me tell y'all what I did notice. I kept saying it felt like I was seeing life through goggles. Like I felt like I was out of my body. And I remember I was in my room and I kept looking at myself like this. Like, am I real? Like, is this really reality? Is this happening? Right? And y'all, mm, this is so heartbreaking. But yeah, so yeah, I was just out of it. I kept saying, I feel like I'm seeing life through goggles. Like, I feel like I'm in a glass. Like, I'm seeing through something. Like, I got glasses on or goggles on, right? So, I opened up to my mother about it. I was like, I think it's time for me to go to the hospital and get a psych evaluation or something. So, I got the evaluation. Probably like 2 days later, I was like, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna wait and see. But because my eyes, it kept going in and out. It kept happening in and out. So once I got to the hospital, I told them what was going on. They diagnosed me with severe postpartum depression. Y'all, me being admitted, it was a lot. They was telling me I had to take my necklace off, take my bra off, any earrings. I couldn't have my phone charger. I couldn't even have my phone, but my mother snuck me my phone, y'all. Cause what else y'all want me to do? So I had my music playing in my ears, and I was coloring. They gave me a coloring book, some stickers to decorate or whatever, and then excuse me, my phone started going dead. They was like, you can't charge your phone. We gotta take. You're not even supposed to have your phone, but if you needed to charge, we gotta take it. So I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing to myself. I'm not crazy, y'all, but I get it. That was their job. I'm just like, I'm just going through postpartum, and that was kind of eye opener for me in being in that hospital. Cause I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with me. So, um, yeah, the psychiatrist ended up coming and talked to me, told me I had severe postpartum depression. She gave me this group of moms that kind of link up together and talk about their struggles. I never joined it because personally I don't feel that that would have helped me, and I was looking more for like medicine or for a direct therapist and for a one-on-one session. But I just didn't. It's not that I didn't follow through with it either. They didn't reach out back out to me. But yeah, y'all, they also was telling me they didn't want to keep me because they didn't seem that it was going to be that. I mean, it didn't seem like I needed to be on a watch. They told me that it really is just postpartum. They understood where I was coming from. Um, what else? What else happened? Okay, so I ended up crying and having a little small panic attack before leaving because I knew that I was leaving and I felt like I was going there for help. Um, and they ended up calling the psychiatrist back right there, and the psychiatrist was like, "You okay? Whatever." So they gave me this pill called Ativan to calm me down. I'm thinking this is gonna be something just like a relaxer. I mean, it was relaxing, all right, but y'all, I felt like I was high for like 3 days straight, but I ended up staying home, getting me some rest. I was asleep. Um, I was asleep on the way back home. The medicine kind of put me out, y'all. I had some good sleep. It relaxed my mind. But I'm gonna tell you another thing that pushed me to go to the hospital. Every time I laid down on the pillow, my mind started racing. And every time I tried to go to sleep, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna scroll until I could fall asleep. No. Next thing I know, it was 3 o'clock. Next thing I know, it was 4 o'clock. if I didn't try to put myself to sleep, I would literally be up with my mind racing. So they gave me the medicine that helped me sleep, and it wasn't even a prescribed, bottle. They gave me that one pill at the hospital, and I felt like I felt it for 3 days straight, y'all. So, um, yeah, they like. I feel like I'm kind of missing some stories with my postpartum journey. If there is any missing, I will address them in the next episode. But yeah, for now, they also just like they were just telling me it's gonna be okay. They were comforting. Once I got home, I did also kind of have breakdowns because I felt my eyes still going in and out. Like the medicine didn't take away from that part. My eyes were still going in and out. I kind of googled it. It sounded like postpartum, like a psychosis, and but the psychiatrist didn't say it's psychosis. So I'm just like, they just said severe postpartum depression. Cause like I'm not like I wasn't like hearing voices or anything, but in a way I wasn't. Yeah, like yeah, I don't think I was. Another thing people aren't aware of is spiritual warfare. That's what I felt like. It felt like it was a fight for my life, and that's exactly what spiritual warfare feels like. So I'm a firm believer in God. So you gotta know when it's the attack of the enemy, and that's what I took from it as well. But I also was having breakdowns once I got home because my daughter, like I didn't like being feeling out of it when my daughter was around. So the fact that my eyes was going in and out, and then we had like a family Christmas party at my grandmother's house, and my eyes were going in and out, and I kept putting on sunglasses to try to block out the feeling. And everybody was like, "Why you got on glasses?" I'm like, "My allergies," but I didn't want to tell nobody, outside of the people that did know. And yeah, it just was. I didn't like it because I just wanted to always be in the moment. I don't never want to be zoned out, especially with me already feeling like I missed her first. Yeah, so my brother had took off work and came home with me. Came over here because he has his own place. He came over here with me and stayed and watched me and was like, I can't take my eye off you. And I'm like, boy, whatever. But, he just came and comforted me. My grandmother, everybody was basically trying to keep an eye on me because I was struggling with not harming myself, but also being in and out of the moment. And it wasn't like me being in and out, like I didn't hear nobody. It was like you would look at me and think I was okay, I was normal, but I knew how I felt. So um, yeah, everybody was just trying to be there for me. So after that moment, that pushed me to say, okay, it's time for medicine and it's time for therapy. So I went and got it. My therapy took 3 to 4 months to even start, y'all. I just started like in April, so I signed up for the therapy in January. So yeah, about 3 4 months. Um, and well, about 3 months. And what my other gynecologist ended up giving me a temporary prescription of Lexapro. That helped for like 2 weeks, y'all, and then that was it. It just stopped after that. So, once I officially saw the therapist and the psychiatrist, he prescribed me medicine on the first day to help balance my hormones, help me whatever. Again, I only take that medicine to go to sleep now and to relax my mind before bed. So, yeah, yeah. So, I wanted to try to keep taking it throughout the day, but I tried to start again last week, but I took it and it put me down. Like I was like, nah, never again. But I think right now I'm really struggling with trying to find myself, and I'm focused on building myself back up. As far as the relationship with me and her dad, um, we try as much as we can, and we can only do what God wants us to do. And truth be told, I'm I don't have the capacity for a relationship right now. I'm more focused on me and trying to get myself back together. Um, but it's ways that we do try. So I'm not too upset about what's going on. I'm just allowing God to work. We have a great relationship though. Like we get along very well. Just the actual relationship couple part of it, I don't know because I'm struggling with things with myself that can affect the relationship, and I don't want to hurt him trying to, you know. And don't get me wrong, he ain't no saint, because I don't want him to do things to trigger me either. So we just trying. And yeah, if you don't know, my clothing brand is back up and running. So There's that. And yeah, y'all, I think I pretty much covered as much as I could. Again, if I did miss anything, it will be addressed in the next episode, which is episode 3. And yeah, y'all, I think we good for this week, okay? All right, well, you already know the drill with Mental Health Mondays. If you're not a mommy, send this to your mommy friends, mommy family members. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Okay. And go follow the Instagram. I will be putting the Instagram below, which is Postpartum with Priyah. And I will see y'all on episode 3. Bye bye, mommies.